Hi, I'm Mark Clegg for the Photographer Academy and welcome to the Flash Facts series. This is where I've broken down the kind of the secrets or the problems or the techniques of flash photography, whether you're a speedlight photographer or you're just getting started with your off-camera flash, or you're kind of more advanced, or you're looking to get into studio flash photography. I'm trying to kind of unravel the kind of the techniques for you so you can understand fully what the different settings are, how to best kind of get going. Plus, we're going to look at pros and cons of each different section, as well as some tips and things really. So the Flash series, you can obviously watch lots of video content on the Academy website itself, but the Flash Facts series is breaking down each section at a time for you. Hope you enjoy it. So in this session, we're looking at accessories for Studio Flash, and kind of, it doesn't matter whether you're using the brand new kind of equipment out on the market, or you're using, you know, equipment that you've bought secondhand on eBay, or kind of it's been in the cupboard for a very long time, whichever it is. The key thing is understanding kind of why we're using specific things. Let's kick off with Beauty Dish. Beauty Dish is a very wide reflector dish that fits on the front of your Studio Flash, of course. You can buy some of them for a speedlight as well. But basically, the Beauty Dish works by adding a nose cone in front of the flash itself. What that nose cone does, it allows the flash to burst or explode and then hit the nose cone, bounce back into the dish before it then floods the scene. You're pretty much guaranteed to see a kind of a shape of the actual beauty dish if you're using it at a distance, a kind of a round shape, and it's got almost a hard edge shadow with it. You find that a lot of fashion photographers, beauty photographers and headshot photographers kind of use a beauty dish as their standard kind of image, and its position is usually above camera position, kind of slightly kind of going downwards and then bouncing off a reflector to kind of help kind of give that beauty image, but it can also be used directly as well. The next key kind of accessory is a polished interior of a reflector dish. This is often referred to as a key light because it basically has a more specular light. You'll also find that you have reflector dishes that have got a knurled interior that allows the flash, as it kind of comes out, to kind of get jagged as far as it's with the way that it mixes. So it's not just going straight out of the flash accessory, it's kind of bouncing in there and it's kind of breaking itself up a little bit before it then comes out at the end of the accessory itself. Whereas a key light reflector is polished, so that means it's kind of almost mirrored, and if you're looking for a near sunlight quality for your studio flash, then pretty much a key light reflector dish will do that for you. And obviously, as I said, you know, you can get them in different sizes as well, but because of its polished surface, the positioning is really down to you what effect, whether you can use it for a background light. I love to use it for headshot photography where I'm looking for a very, very sunlit kind of image. It can create some very dramatic effects. Honeycomb, absolutely a must-have as far as I'm concerned to a portrait accessory or commercial accessory. What a honeycomb does, it doesn't allow the flash, remember it's just gas that explodes of light as it were, comes out at the end of the reflector dish. As it exits the reflector dish, in a normal way, it will just kind of dissipate itself. It will kind of disperse. What a honeycomb does, it only allows the flash to travel in a straight line. And what you do is have a much more controlled shape to the light source itself. Again, because of its characteristics, it's often used for a hair light where it's pointing back towards camera position. It's used to kind of focus in the light on a specific area of an image. It can even be used on a background itself and things really, but a very powerful accessory. And then kind of while we're staying on the reflector dish kind of accessories, barn doors, whether they're a clip-on or a very specific kind of manufacturer made kind of accessory for your reflector. A barn door is a kind of probably one of the oldest lighting accessories. You'll often see them used back to the beginning of time of photography in Hollywood and beyond, as it were, where the light is being shaped and controlled so it doesn't spill. What you're seeing here is a barn doors on each side, but you can also have barn doors that are on the top and the bottom as well. Obviously, these ones that we're seeing here are kind of clip-on, so they can be positioned anywhere on the actual reflector dish itself. But the size of these will only allow for 2 on a reflector dish at any one time. Whereas a manufacturer's own barn doors, they'll often have the 4 doors, as I said, so you can control it in a little bit way. But the way that the barn doors work is as you open them up or you close them down, it'll either give you closed down and narrower light, or if you open them up, it will give you a more feathered light as such. Really just allows the light to be controlled. Really, really good for more creative, dramatic portrait photography, product photography, or if you're trying to actually create shapes onto kind of backgrounds and so on. And the great thing about that, of course, is they can also be tandemed with gels to kind of control where the light is going to be kind of positioned. And there's 2 types of clip on here as far as the gels. Kind of the double clip is at the bottom. This allows it to clip onto the reflector dish and onto the actual gel itself, whereas the one on the top is basically just a cheap one that you're buying a motor accessories or a gardening accessory that you can kind of use. The key thing to do with gels, in fact, is to make sure you're buying a gel that is fireproof. Obviously, anything gel-wise, if you put it directly onto a old style of light bulb, it will burn through it, and of course then when it burns through it, it'll kind of discolor the tube or discolor the bulb. You never want to have the gel right on top of the actual flash itself. I'm on about touching it, because over the time, even if with little blips of flash, it will colour your flash to the colour of the gel, especially if you shoot fast where the heat is kind of gaining itself up and up and up all the time. But as far as the kind of the gels here, obviously you can combine it as well with other accessories like the actual barn doors. Quick tip though, if you're using a gel and a honeycomb, if you use the gel in front of the honeycomb, you basically lose all of the effect of the honeycomb, because what you're doing is adding a form of diffusion as the light exits the honeycomb. In other words, the gel is the diffusion, and that will scatter the light and you lose all the effect and things really. So you always want the actual gel between the light source and the actual exit point if possible, especially if you use in the likes of gels or focus spots. A snoot, it's one of those accessories that you used to hear me complain about all the time, and it was in the cupboard gathering dust. But in fact, in the past probably decade, I've fallen back in love with the snoot. I used to kind of be in love more with a focusable spot, but as they became more and more expensive, as far as the focus spots is concerned, I began to actually play around with the snoots more. And I hate them being used as a hair light. Excuse me, because the light still scatters, and you really want to control the exit point of the snoot with the likes of a honeycomb if possible, because the light does flare on the end. But it does control the lighting down to a very small point, but it's not a focused light, it's a dispersed light as it comes out the end. If you're looking for a very sharp focus spotlight, then you've got to go for the likes of a focus spot, a universal spot, and this has a movable piece of glass within the actual accessory that allows the glass to be moved further and closer to give either a focus or an unfocused light source. These can also then be adapted by adding in gels and lighting patterns like these gobos to kind of change the actual lighting shape that it throws onto the actual background or onto the subject itself. So if you're looking for that very, very sharp effect, you're going to need to actually have something that can be focused. And they do pretty much all of these accessories as well for the likes of a speed light. They're just more available in the world of studio flash photography and so on with it. So that's a kind of a quick guide to some of my favorite accessories, and it doesn't matter what manufacturer of Studio Flash or Speedlight that you use, you'll find that they all make a range of Studio Flash accessories no matter what, or you'll be able to actually pick them up as a third-party element to actually go onto your flashes. So if you'd like to know more about the Photographer Academy, head over to thephotographeracademy.com and go over to the lighting section here, and you can see that there's lots of different topics and content for you to go ahead and actually watch immediately. As a member, you'll be able to actually click in and then watch and download the films. To join, just click onto the Join Academy on the website kind of links, and it'll just bring it over to here. And as you can see, you can join for as little as £33 for 3 months. But in addition, of course, it's not just our film content. There's also lots of other assets to download, including brushes for Photoshop, smart objects with Photoshop, 100 backgrounds for you to use, as well as actions. Plus, we've got some great visual posing guide apps for you to download and put onto your smart device.